We are go for liftoff in T minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
It's a low blog talk radio.
Welcome to Italo's Black Talk Radio. This is Italo speaking. I am thrilled to have another poet. I haven't had that many poets in my podcast, and I'm like, where are my poets at? So we have one.
They're hiding.
Yeah, they're hiding from as it should be. Sometimes they have to. But yeah, welcome to the. So this podcast is actually thanks to Azazas, because he connected me to Deon, Deon Blur, I believe is.
Deon Durr.
Durr.
Yeah, Durr. Yeah.
Why am I missing everybody's name today?
It is perfectly okay. When I did my podcast back in the day, I butchered names every single day. Even my cast names, I butchered their names every now and then. So it's perfectly okay. I know the struggle.
I apologize.
No,
Actually, I have 3 people tell me don't apologize to me anymore. So sorry about that. Sorry to everybody that I messed up their names, but yay. Anyways, so are you also in Gainesville, or?
I'm in Gainesville, yeah. Gainesville, born and raised.
Born and raised.
Been there, done that, got that t-shirt, got the new t-shirt. Now I want to leave
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I met DJ. Oh my God. I just woke up, so I apologize too for that.
No, you are
but I had DJ Mellow Blends, Azazas. Now I have Deon Durr, not Blur. But yeah, I'm connected to Florida a lot right now, so that's cool.
Talent. Yeah, there's like a lot of great talent in Florida. So hoping that Florida gets that push we need to really display that talent, because there's a lot of good talent down here. A lot of good talent.
Yeah, and great. So what has it been like to the community, the artist community in general since the pandemic? Like, how has there been any changes? I'm sure there has, but
you know what? As far as oh, can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now because I wasn't able to see you here. But anyways, I can see you.
Hopefully my computer ain't messing up. I'm trying to but as far, when I was on quarantine, because I was on people lost their jobs, unfortunately, I kind of stayed inside and I just worked on projects I had put off. But as far as like the artist scene goes, it was still pretty vibrant. It was still pretty vibrant from what I could tell from my friends who were still participating in, online poetry events online. There were so many local artists doing, online events, trying to promote those as best as they could. So I think it still kept going. And then when that unfortunate incident happened in what is the Twin Cities? No, not Twin Cities.
Chicago?
Was it Chicago? I can't breathe. That's one thing. Well, that's what that's comfortable. Like when that happened.
Oh, you're talking about George Floyd.
Yes, yeah. George. And then when that happened, it's like everybody came together. Everybody came together to really display how everybody was feeling during that time, and art was one of those ways. Because I think a lot of people kind of tried to discredit, celebrities, saying there's no need for music. I was like, well, what do you mean? I mean, I was kind of correct what you're saying, because we still need music and art, and there's so many that do not just focus on the celebrity. They're about the music and the art, But then again, I know some they just want to go for the ones that they don't like. But as far as that goes, it was still pretty vibrant. People still out. They were still creating, making music. I saw a lot of my friends take up their art again, drawing, writing, singing.
Mm.
My cousin she just released her first book. So, the art did not die during COVID. It actually flourished. Wherever you went, you saw it happening, and it was a good thing because a lot of people were scared, but art creatives, I want to say that they kind of kept the hope going, in the best way that they could. And I really appreciate looking at that, whether they were a celebrity or not. It was great to see creators come together and just give people some hope without it being some backdoor type plug-in. It was just like, let's come together and let's just work to give some hope to people. So that was like a great thing for me to see during the whole lockdown.
Right. Actually, I always have the problem with the word essential jobs, right? And I've said this a lot of times, and I'm like, essential jobs, sure. To a poet, poetry, open mics, reciting poetry or spitting poetry is essential. To me, it's essential. It may not be to a doctor, or it may not be to a firefighter, but hey, that's what I do.
It was, how can I put, it was such, can't even word it. It was perspective went a lot. And then I'm kind of like, everybody has to eat. So can you just find, everybody wants to because like a lot of people couldn't afford to take that time off. If you are a full-time artist or musician, you couldn't really take that time off. You had to keep working the best way that you could. So, that's why I feel like when it comes to essential, it was like, we know what's essential to keep things running, but what about keeping things keeping the hope alive and stuff like that, So I kind of feel like that's like where it got kind of blurred for like a lot of people. Because I'm gonna say it again, everybody had to find another way to eat. Because for me, with my job, I had to find another way to eat too, to keep my house going. So it was when it comes to like essential jobs, it's so selective because everybody has their own opinion what a essential job is. And I kind of feel like now we're kind of going back into that point where certain places shouldn't be open, certain things shouldn't be closed down, like poetry, poetry gatherings, all that stuff need to be closed down, these bars, and kind of why I do feel like, yes, they do need to be shut down, but let's not just say it in a way that it's, we're just throwing people away. I kind of feel that was a big issue. People feel like they were being thrown away by society.
Right. I mean, yeah, because I mean, we adjust. We can adapt to anything. We can adapt to TikTok. We can adapt to social media.
I do not
We
have
can
TikTok
go.
yet.
Okay, that's fine. I respect
I
you
need to
for
get it
that.
though. I'm like, I need to get it, but I
You
don't
need
have
to get it.
it.
But you don't have to. I mean, up to this point, at this point in my TikTok experience, I must say that if I want to take some time away, I need to have that healthy distance right now. But it's very addicting. So if you're not looking forward to another addiction, then maybe not. But if you love entertainment, if you love music, if you love theater, if you love acting, if you love comedy, yeah. that's
That's like, that's what I love about TikTok is what a lot of people found TikTok, and I was like, TikTok's not annoying. TikTok's another way for people to promote themselves where they can't do it the way that they can right now because they didn't have those venues to go to. They didn't have those events they could do. A lot of people did not have access to the virtual concerts and how that, like, people did not have access. So I feel like TikTok was one of those ways that people could do that. So I feel like TikTok is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, it can be a good or bad things too, but
that part. Yeah.
you can look at it both ways,
Yeah. It's
But
subjective.
was that?
It's very subjective.
Yeah, and I think like I was talking to somebody earlier on the podcast. His name is Robbie Cornelius, and he has a podcast. And obviously, I'm a podcaster. I'm also a producer, and I'm also a poet, and I'm also many things. I have many hats, right? So in order to do that, I have to promote myself. And so social media is kind of essential, in my opinion. And some people have very strong ideas about TikTok. Somebody was saying yesterday, "Oh, isn't that for pedophiles that are looking to see?" And I'm like, um,
I've heard that. I've heard that. And my response was, then what the hell do you call Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn? I mean, pedophiles can be everywhere. They're not
yeah,
just they're not just in one place. They can be everywhere. So, but you know what though, it always comes down to people just find the most ridiculous reasons to just discredit something, and I will never understand that concept. It's like, if you don't like it, don't like it. You don't got to be edgy, you know. I made a whole post about that one time. I was kind of like, oh man, here come the edgy people. They don't
yeah,
like something, so they got to make it known how they don't like it. Yet they go into every single video about this one subject and write essays among essays.
yeah,
I saw
yeah,
so many. This is like when Katy Perry was really doing great, and I'm a Katy Perry fan. And I was like, there's one person on all her videos writing essays among essays, and I'm like, you hate her that much, but you're giving her your money. Come on now, really? Come on now, really? Come on.
right.
You have
So, Katy Perry is your all-time favorite artist?
She ain't my all-time favorite now. I
Oh,
enjoy
okay.
she for me it's, if you ask anybody, my friends, family, co-workers, it's TLC. I grew
Oh
up
yeah.
I grew up
Oh,
listening to TLC. I know all the TLC songs. I got a few of the albums right here looking in front of me. So for me it was TLC. You
so
know,
what's your favorite song from
from
TLC?
TLC, ooh, I would say Waterfalls. I feel everybody
Yeah.
says that. I feel like I think my favorite ones would have to be between Switch from Crazy Sexy Cool and My Life from Fan Mail and Damage from 3D, you know. So
Hmm.
they're just so versatile. They're so versatile
Yeah.
still.
They're
And
amazing.
and I look to Lisa Left Eye Lopez. She's a big inspiration for me,
Hmm.
very big in terms of spirituality, in terms of writing, poetic wise. She's just a big inspiration to me. So yeah,
That's true.
it's TLC, man.
But she was a poet, in her own right. She was a poet, and very unfortunate what happened, right? But
Very,
I think
very.
she was about to, be. She was like on the verge of a breakthrough.
She really
Um,
was. She really was. Still,
yeah, but especially at that time because she was in what
Honduras.
country was she in?
Honduras. Hmm.
Honduras, right?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I also after that documentary, or yeah, the movie about TLC, I had to look up the master that she was, the guru or whoever he
Dr.
was.
Savy.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I know
looked
some
him up.
people I was kind of like, you trying to tell me I've been knew about Dr. Savy. Lisa Left that little bit Dr. Savy years ago when I was a when I was a teenager, man, back in
Yeah,
sixth grade. But you know, I'm glad that you mentioned him, because I just want to say this, like, give people their credit when they're here. Because now that he's gone, I see so many people who never even mentioned Dr. Sabi, who discredit every chance. Now they're saying he's such a great. And I'm looking like, why is it because that he's dead? It's because, like, he had a point. A lot of his things were actually proven to work. Why you giving him credit now?
mm,
I ain't that petty. I don't try to be that petty, but I'm just like, why now? Give people their credit while they're still here. You know.
yeah,
And that's one that taught me about 2020. People do
mm,
not give you your credit until you're gone. And that's very sad and depressing.
mm, true. That is true. Like many people say that, poets are they not dead? All the poets, and I'm like, yeah. No, there's a movie called Dead Poet Society, but it doesn't mean that we're dead. And poetry in my opinion, poetry takes so many forms.
Oh,
People don't
yeah.
realize there's poetry in music, poetry in acting, in a screenplay of a movie, or in a theater production. I entered, the theater community, but through poetry. And that was one time I was watching John Legend in concert, but he was doing Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On" tribute, and everybody was getting high. The Hollywood Bowl, Hollywood Bowl, right? And there's a lot of people smoking, and I'm like, I was just like getting a instant high from, or contact high, they call it, right?
Oh, yeah.
From everybody collectively was getting high. Not only was he doing Marvin Gaye, who's one of the best artists in the world, right? Dead or alive, but he was doing a tribute to What's Going On. But in between because there's only 8 songs in that CD, right? In between the songs, there was a spoken poet coming on the stage and doing poetry, and I was already high. And I'm like, this is poetry. And then the music, and I was like crying. I was like, everything's poetry. Everything's, it's like a feeling that I never felt, but it was a realization, like everything's poetry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Like, especially when it comes to music, rap music in general, because rap music, the basis for it was poetry. When you
yeah.
when you go back and trace the roots to it, it started off with poetry. Just rhyming and putting words together, certain phrases and concepts, that all goes back into poetry. And poetry just evolved, it evolved into a new level, which was hip hop and rap.
hmm
What's happening? What's happening?
Sorry, I'm just no. It's just that it's supposed to be switching to you.
Oh, they switching to me.
I'm sorry. Something technical things here. Give me a second. Sorry. What were you saying?
Hide in my room, so if I'm dabbing myself away, why
Yeah.
I was hiding in my room.
Oh, it's Florida, people.
you know, but I was saying, like, in terms of music, the basis for it is poetry. On a level, it is poetry. Song lyrics are poetry. And I kind of, and that was the basis for, my recent line of work. Is I call them lyric collections because they're lyrics. In a sense, they're just lyric poetry, but yeah, just going back, I kind of lost my train of thought real quick. Poetry is the basis of music. Music,
Yeah.
no matter the genre, is like, poetry is like right there. Poetry is there. So I think when it comes down to it, people kind of need to see those lines, because I kind of never like when people try to like separate rap from poetry, especially conscious, or like conscious rap. That is poetry. What are y'all doing? Is not separate. It is the same. It is poetry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And people, as they all do, they all say things like, rap is not music. I was in somebody's live and somebody said rap is not an art form.
Which rap?
I was like,
Which rap? Which rap?
well, it doesn't matter. If you're talking about WAP dance, obviously,
Yeah,
I agree. But even then, I can't even think about that song right now. But obviously, there's going to be good and bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tupac, there's, God, I'm blanking out. But there's so many artists that are doing rap. Ice-T, Ice Cube, all the ice. Well, anyway, I know my rap but not today. I'm not really. But they all have like LL Cool J or whatever. Everybody has their own way of expression, and that's poetry right there. Is how you express yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And once again, I'm gonna say, music is very subjective. What's good to some people may not be good for the other people. But at the end of the day, I would never stand by and discredit saying that's not real song. So I was kind of like, it ain't real to me, but it's real to somebody. It's there. It's physical. It's in the ether. It's there. So it is tangible. So I don't. So I can never really stand by and say, yeah, that's not rap. That's not real rap. I just say to me, that's not my cup of tea. So I I don't gear to that. I kind of, stay where I can understand the lyrics. but but to say that rap is not an art form, that's just like nah. It is an art
Yeah.
form. It is
Well,
not.
and TLC is another proof. They had a little bit of the rap, and that was poetry right there. Waterfalls is an amazing song.
Yes, yes,
Whether you like rap or not, you can't deny it. It's a great song.
yeah, yeah. I had actually for a poetry project back in college, I actually included her rap in my project because I'm looking like that is a poem. That
Yeah.
is a poem. And if you kind of and then this like with any rap artists who go through that, who start to look for themselves spiritually, you will see that their form kind of starts to change from the traditional bars rap to like more of a poetic form. It artists such as Lauren Hill, Erica Badu, Lisa Left Lopez, they all just it's rap still, but like the form is more in tune with poetry.
Yeah, and it's more spiritual. I mean, you're
Yeah,
mentioning Lauren Hill and India Arie or amazing artists. I love Lauren Hill myself, and especially when she went crazy and
go crazy.
started being. Oh, these are air quotes, people. Uh, they label her as crazy and demented, and you're crazy. What are you doing? And that's not you. That's not who you should be like. You shouldn't sound like this, and you should sound more like Miseducation. And so when she did the unplugged, and she opened up, she opened up a lot in that concert.
Yeah.
As to why she hates the industry, as to why she hates people telling her who to be and what to do and how to sing, and she's like, people, you don't even you assume that you know me, but I don't even know myself, so I'm barely getting to know myself. How do you assume that you're going to know me
Yeah. I
if you
mean,
don't?
to me, like that has always been like just an issue. It's always been, artists were not allowed to evolve. We're not allowed to change. And I'm just kind of like, why can't we change? And want to go ahead and say, unpopular opinion.
Oh yeah, I know who you're
Taylor,
talking about. I know who you're talking about.
who you think
I
I'm
did
talking
not
about?
vote. I did not vote for him though.
Oh, Kanye. No,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
but then again, Kanye is a good example of artists should be allowed to change. Taylor Swift, she changed, but then she got so much backlash because now they saying, oh, she's like another mindless pop star. Like, what you mean she's another mindless pop star? Her music is still the same. The beat just changed. What are you talking about? And
Yeah.
artists should be allowed to evolve. They should be allowed to tap into different elements. The Black Eyed Peas for one
Oh yeah,
example.
I
They
love
changed
him.
they changed their sound kind of every other album, and then recently they went back to their roots, which is great, So I feel like people need to let go of their perception of what the artist should be for them and just let the artist grow and
Yeah.
evolve and
Let's
improve.
speak about Prince. Like Prince he had to change so many times and so many things. He had to change his name. He had to change his look. He had to change his appearance because of the industry, and he had the word slave because he felt like a slave to the industry. He was hated by many for a long time, and now that I see, and I said that before, so I'm gonna get off the subject, but amazing artists, and they're expressing themselves. And how dare you judge an artist for what they're doing? And I mean, anyway, that's it. I'm getting off my soapbox now.
But but just some like everybody changes. Everybody should be allowed to change. And that's how you stay in that industry. You have to change. If you stay the same your entire career, you don't have the room to grow. And then you don't have to do a complete 160 or sell out. I never really understood that whole sell out.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Just adapt and change and go with the times, but still keep your core and keep your essence. A lot of artists have been able to do that, and they've done it successfully. That's how they kept good runs throughout their career, because they're able to adapt and change and still keep the core of who they were, keep that same message. But like I said, people, like I said, even I do, people have an image of what a artist or art form should be. So that's why I keep on saying it's subjective. I need to take a shot every time I say it's subjective. I need to take a shot every time I say it like 10 times already.
Well, and there was a point in my because I was doing a lot of poetry for a few years, right? Or I'm still doing it, but I started out at 12 years old. I never knew that until somebody told me recently. It's like, you were doing poetry when I was in high school, and you wrote me this poem, and you don't remember. And I'm like, no, I thought I was just doing it now. She's like, yeah, you were always a poet. But the point that I'm trying to make is that at one point in my poetry discovery, I had to write a poem about how I'm not a poet, because I'm not just one thing. You know what I mean? I was just limiting myself to just poetry, just rhyme, or just do this and this. There's rules to poetry, right? Now my poetry doesn't follow any rules, and there's a reason why. I'm like, there are no rules. I mean, if you know the rules and you can break them, that's what I was trying to do, is break the rules. And people were saying, well, that's not poetry. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm not a poet.
Poetry is subjective. Like, come on. But no. I entirely see what you're saying. But I'm going to say it again. Everything is subjective, and poetry, it's so versatile. It has such a wide range of how it can be interpreted differently. And like I said, when I took my poetry class, I loved it because there were so many different forms of poetry I didn't even know. And even going down I was kind of looking like, oh my God, that is what that form is called. I wrote like that a few times when I started writing, I started getting into poetry. I was like, now I know what it's called. But like going back to like, it's all subjective and from different perspectives. That's what poetry is. That's what it should all be. What is not poetry? Like, tell me, what is poetry then? Like, what is poetry? I feel like poetry is it's like, how can I put it? It's kind of like you're taking a thought and you're forming it onto paper. And you are making that transition. You are giving it a form of breath, even with spoken word. You are just giving it to it. When you put the passion and the power and the feeling and the dedication behind it, you are making art, you are making poetry. And so I don't know what that person was talking about. Anything can be poetry, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now look at those, and look at those people as well. It's sad that you don't realize this, and it's fine. I mean, everybody has their opinion, and so just let them be, whatever. I'm not gonna entertain them anymore. But hey, we have 10 minutes left. I want to make sure that we hear some of the poetry that we're talking about in the show.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, okay, so
no pressure.
I did this last minute. I was supposed to do this like throughout the week, but dealing with work and COVID and so many family stuff, I was like, let me just sip through real quick. Let me see what I got for y'all. This was my very first lyric collection, my very first Fadashi, which officially is called I Guess This Is What Love Feels Like. And it deals with the topics of love and self-love and stuff like, just stuff like that cool stuff. Let me see which one I was gonna read for y'all today.
And that was published, that was self-published when?
This was self-published back in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, this one. So the 5-year anniversary unfortunately has passed. I didn't do anything, but I can say that I have some big things in store for the end of the year, like December. I need to get on that because I've been lazy and I've been working. But so I'm just gonna go ahead and just jump onto it. This one is called Just Give Me a Reason. Bracing myself another running with the devil. Bracing myself another running with you, knowing you never gave a damn. But now you see me doing better now. Now you want to make your way back into my sunlight. Knowing for a fact you didn't do anything right. It was night after night. I was trying to not let the memory of you break me, fighting just to keep my sanity after I gave all my power to you. I was just another simple fool in simple love. But love never made me heartless. It was you with your beatless heart. Heart's always trying to tear me apart. That loveless moment just to test to see how far my shade can spread. A broken heart never made me heartless. It was you with your beatless heart. Just looking for another one to break and stay broken. These loveless moments only made me stronger, only made me wiser. When it comes to matter of love and not to let anyone reach for my heart without trying out for a part in my life. Just give me a reason to not let you see my shade. Just give me a reason to not say bye Felicia to your face. Just give me a reason to not let you stop reaching for something you had years ago. Just give me a reason to keep you in my good grace. Just give me a reason to let you out of the storm you left me in. Just give me a reason to let you back in and embrace my heart. Just give me one good damn reason. Just give me a reason. That was remixed, by the way. That was remixed. I jumped around it. That was remixed. But as the legendary Pink said, I wrote it, so I can change it.
Right? They always, we're also concerned about, and I'm actually very anal about it. Like if I make a mistake in one of the, if I'm misreading the poem, or if I miss like one sentence or whatever, I think I messed up the whole thing. And people have no idea I did. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I wrote it, so I can.
You wrote it, and for me, when I look back, because like I said, this was written like 5 years ago, and when I look back, still editing it today, that's one of the beautiful things about independent publishing. You can release it, you can make a mistake, go back and fix it all you want to, but try to get it right on the first try. When you're gonna put it like this, get it right on the first try, have people read it, get opinions on it. Now, don't just throw it out there. But that's the beautiful thing about it, is that you go back and just change it, and it's your words. You can change it. You're not gonna feel the same way about something. For one of my recent, one of my recent books, actually, I kind of went back and I was looking like, I love this, but I don't feel the same way. So let me take this concept and let me do an updated version of it for book that's coming out here. Because, like I said, you won't feel the same way you did about a piece of work 5 years from now, or even 10 years from now. It's always changing, because you're always changing. Your art is going to change with you. And you go back and you do have those reflective moments, you can see, damn, I've come a long way.
Yeah. I believe my poetry too. But there's also something so. It's good to keep the poetry that you had. I've written poetry, throughout my life, I guess. But it's good to go back and then see where you were 5 years ago, or 10, or you know what I mean. And it's good to actually keep it as it was, because as a poet at that time, that was the best you could do at that time. Of course, you are now more mature and whatever, but that 12-year-old still had very powerful words to say. And how dare 48-year-old me change it and say, hey, you missed this word or you misspell this one, and then you know what I'm saying? Like that was still a 12-year-old poet, and I cannot dare change that.
Sometimes grammar doesn't matter in poetry. That's why I tell myself all the time when I read back to my old stuff, like, oh, I messed up the grammar. But now that you said that, I want to pull out something really quickly.
Right.
Oh,
By the way, Deon,
so many.
do you want to?
Over the
I
years.
know you're coming up with a new. Yeah. Hey, pause.
Gosh, that's swell.
So where were we?
I think poetry.
Yes.
I think poetry. and I had and I had left off of trying to figure out why it was so damn hot in here. My heater was on, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Not one of my best moments, but I try to keep it funny about it. I'm gonna laugh a lot about that. But just got just with some poetry. Did you want to hear some more?
Yes.
I prepared some. I prepared.
Sorry, I hesitated a little bit there.
No, you are fine. I am. You know what though? I'm always nervous when I perform, whether it's singing, rapping. I don't rap that often. Or whether it's doing sport, I'm always nervous. But one thing we did talk about was the fact that artists can just kind of change the words of their songs or whatever. And one thing I always told people: if you are performing a original song and you mess up, keep performing. They don't know the song. If you're gonna do some original, just keep on going, because even when you're doing a cover song, because I did cover songs a lot back, last year. And one thing I always told people is, if I mess, I keep on going, because people notice you more when you be like, oh, I messed up. And so I just keep on going with the flow and just, improvise. Have fun. I think when you perform, you should always have fun with it. Change it up, have fun. Don't imagine everybody in their underwear. That gets you nowhere, except laughing uncontrollably like I did a couple of times.
Yeah, I don't like doing that anymore. I used to do that. I'm like, imagine them naked, and then I'm like, trying to look at them. How when you're in the open mic, you're like, you can really see them anyways. You're like, why am I even trying to see them?
Dang it! I should have picked that. No, that's actually in my second book. I actually wrote a lyric about that, where just like picture yourself performing to one person in the audience. Picture that one person. Keep rising that one person, and then man, you'll have probably the best performance of your life. You keep your eyes on that person, and just imagine that one person in front of you. But I'm ready to read you guys another piece. This one is called Piece by Piece. Now, I had wrote this when I was very upset with my brother. Very upset. And if you ask anybody, they would say, if Deon gets mad at you, be known you're going to be in one of his book as a kid getting killed off randomly, or he's going to write a song about you. And I'm looking like, he ain't lying. He's right. I got a list of people I just throw randomly in books. But this one's called Piece by Piece. Piece by piece, I got back a part of me. You tried to destroy me. After you tried to keep me from being me, piece by piece, I found the fires. Piece by piece, I found my own definition of rebellion. I learned nothing but harsh lessons, but I'm about to give a heartbreaking confession. If I had the chance, I'll throw it all away and never look back. Pound on the broken dreams and scream, what the hell have you done to me? What the hell have you done to make me feel so forgotten? What the hell have you painted me to be? Some rotten soul that was never meant to be free, some heartless beast that was never meant to see the light. You thought you killed me, but piece by piece, reality only set me free. Piece by piece, I found a reason to live after you told me nothing was out there for me. Piece by piece, I found a reason. Woo.
Word.
Thank you. Woo, man. So many emotions. So many
Yeah.
emotions with that one. So many emotions with
I
that
could
one.
never tell that was your brother. By the way.
So many. So, but you know, I think that was always, writing was always an outlet for me, because I could create a world where, in a sense, I felt safe, where I made the rules, where I could have an honest conversation with myself. So writing has always been that gateway. And like I said, if you make me mad, I'll write a song about you. I'll do you like Adele, Taylor Swift, Michael
Yeah,
Jackson.
Adele.
I'll do you just like them. But I do have
Somebody
some.
like you. I'm
I do have
I'm not
some
a singer,
pretty.
obviously, so I just kill that. No, but I do love Adele because even though she got a lot of backlash, hate because they play her freaking song every single hour on the hour, I believe
It
that
was a great song.
her poetry was amazing. Like,
Yeah,
yes, I know that you're not heartbroken anymore. However, you still feel that it's like trapped in that song. It's
yeah.
like, how can I still feel that? It's a
hmm
capsule.
I
Awesome.
call it. I call it. I can't. With another writer recently, it was like sometimes creators, artists, we kind of go to that dark place for that inspiration. But I always tell people this: remember to come back, because you can get stuck, and when you get stuck, it's hard to get out of there. So
Oh yeah.
it's good to go there to find the inspiration, but like I said, always make sure that you come back, and find yourself again.
Well,
Like,
if I may share a poem, actually, I don't know
oh,
if I
go
can.
for it. Go for it.
Um, and actually, it has a little bit to do with what you just said about coming back to, because many times as poets we're very emo and we're very emotional and we're very tragic, right? But we never write, we hardly write when we're feeling good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I went through that phase, you know. Now I'm feeling
Yeah.
good again. So now I want to let the light out.
Yeah, and once in a while, you have to remember, like, sometimes poetry, in my opinion, when I write it down in paper, it's no longer in here. It's no longer in my throat, and so it's already out of my body. And many times I revisit my poetry, and the things I wrote were for me, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna write something today, but in 2030 I might come back to it and be like, that was amazing. In 2020 I wrote that. And
Yeah.
so it's just funny how that works sometimes. Like, I'm trying to. Okay, so there was a song. Wait, hold on. What's the name of the song? Ain't nobody gonna break my stride. Yeah. So I don't know if you know the '80s, but there's a song called "Ain't Nobody Gonna Break My Stride," and so I had that song in my head, like stuck for like a day or two, and it's like one of those songs, like Baby Shark. It's like Shark. So I had to write about it because I was feeling good that day, and now I cannot find it. Oh, here it is. And I have a lot of notes, like a lot of arrows pointing different way. I'm sorry that you can't really see it,
Oh no, you're
but if you if
good.
you
I
can
can see it
tell,
right
like
now.
the graphics,
Yeah.
when I'm writing down, I don't have there's no I don't know if you got that, where you have no structure yet. There's no structure.
Oh.
You just
Oh
writing.
yeah. Just
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And later on, you're like, wait, this goes to the middle, this goes to the end, this goes to the front. So that's what I was doing here. Okay, so the song starts in my head, and nobody gonna break my stride. Nobody's gonna slow me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving. What moves me to write this poem is a wonderful feeling that I'm making new connections, new acquaintances, virtually, but still better than wallowing in my couch, watching people sleeping, watching people whining. I have to discern whose content I can get behind, who fulfills me with joy. No time to waste. Oh no, wait. Oh people, wait, what? Oh people will bring me down. Oh no, you gotta keep on moving. Last night I had the strangest dream. Wavelengths crossing, feel like I'm picking up signals. I feel like I'm connecting in a way I haven't connected before. I see people's lives in front of my eyes, very addicting and sometimes very lonely. I see comments come and go. Sometimes they land, sometimes they don't. It's not the quantity, it's about the quality. I heard him say. Makes sense. People wanting more instant fame, wanting thousands, millions to validate their black holes, feel their emptiness, the emptiness they feel. I don't expect to get thousands or millions as long as you get my message. I'm grateful you're here. Um, some look for attention, some come here for love. Come to my PD party. Sorry, but I'm feeling lucky. I don't get sad as I used to. Walking tall, walking on sunshine, beautiful days ahead. No need to look at my feet while I step. I look at the horizon, at the stars and the constellations for inspiration. Sorry that you're feeling depressed. Trust me, I've been there, my friend. But lately, I've been feeling marvelous. No longer overwhelmed by stress or worries. No more out of my, no more out of my control. um Anyways, I'm editing as I'm writing, as I'm reading this. I see you out there making negative comments, trying to rally me up, trying to get me mad. It doesn't work anymore. Your words don't echo here no more. Gotta break it up to you. We belong to the light. No time to waste, no shits to spare. We are TikToking till the cows come home. Why? Is there something wrong? We don't fall into your traps anymore. Your tricks don't work on me. One day you'll understand. One day you'll see the light. Keep your faith. We're rooting for, sorry. So let me say that again. One day you'll see the light. Keep your faith. We're rooting you'll change. Can't really force you. It's all up to you. It's okay to cry. After the storm comes the sun. Beautiful blue skies and white clouds dissipate. Ain't nobody gonna break my stride. Ain't nobody gonna hold me down. Oh no, I gotta keep on moving.
Hey, I like that. That was awesome. I loved it. And you don't gotta apologize to me. I understand completely. Editing as you go along. I do it all the time.
What's that?
I do it all the time. Editing as you go along. It's perfectly okay with me. I do it all the time.
I am always, yeah.
Because you know what? There is always room for improvement, and there's always room for criticism when it's constructive, especially when you're giving that criticism to yourself. There's in between giving yourself criticism and tearing yourself down. I'm still learning the difference
Yeah, yeah.
every day, but that was
But
great.
in itself, I'm like, I'm actually glad that I wrote that down because otherwise, that feeling or that thought, it would have escaped me 5 minutes later
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
if
yeah,
I didn't write it
definitely.
down. Like, and people say like their poems are meant to be written or read, and it's not true because sometimes the poetry is right there. And but yeah, you have to put it on paper because you'll forget.
Yeah.
So
There's,
keep
there's poetry everywhere. There's poetry in life, you know. It's kind of like how people say everything has a meaning. Well, poetry is the meaning to a lot of things. That sounded weird, but you know what I'm saying, right? It sounded weird,
I
but you
get
know what
it.
I'm saying. Yeah, so poetry, it's poetry. If you look, you know what, you don't gotta look hard. Sometimes you gotta look and it's right there. And it's just a simple thing. Sometimes it's not the words itself, but it's the emotions behind the words. That's why I love poetry. You don't have to go with crazy phrases and wordings and just say, sometimes you just got to say, I was pissed off that day. And it's not the words, it's the meaning behind the words that really give that impactful, saying a lot is bad, that gives that impactful thought, that message within poetry itself. I kind of miss
Mm.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of lost my train of thought, but it came back. It came back. It always comes
It
back.
always comes back. It always comes back.
Yeah,
I do
but
the same thing. I always go like, tee, 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 tee. Here's the answer.
yeah. But if you can, this also all the writers out there. When you have that thought in your head, I said this during my workshops back in the day. You have a thought in your head, write it down, because you never know. That could be your Oscar-winning scene. That could be your Grammy Award-winning song. That could be your A+ dissertation essay. When you get that thought in your head, write it down. Keep it there. I have a whole folder on my OneDrive with just like random lines and sayings. And every time I need to write something, I'll go right back and say, what's in this folder real quick? Then bam, I got like a whole book.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just one phrase, and sometimes that one phrase is enough.
Yeah, yeah. I love one sentence. Is that the right word? One sentence poetry? I don't know if that's the right word for it.
I heard about this.
You say quotes? I don't know. I don't even know how to even word this. It's so weird. But yeah, sometimes that one sentence is phrase, that's all that's needed. Because I'm gonna say it again. Sometimes it's not the words itself; it's the emotion and power behind the words is what makes it poetry and such, and just everlasting and longevity. Stuff like that. Lost my train of thought
Yeah.
again. I'm trying to sound articulate. I'm trying to sound articulate and smart, and that ain't me. I'm just a goofy person. I'm goofy
Yeah, sometimes we want to sound so eloquent, right?
and look eloquent. That ain't me at all. That ain't me at all. I wish it was. But I wish it was. I feel they should put me on TV, and I feel like I have a lot of ratings. And then, Dean, you can't say that. Well, cancel me then. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And there was another time that I noticed like the signs along the road. I don't know if you ever came across. I came across a poet, and she was writing signs that she saw along the freeway, like adopt a highway or infinity, like this, the car. So things like that. And then at the end of her drive, she would write them all down, and it would be a poem. Like it wouldn't make sense until you stop and you wrote it all down, and then somehow random things came together, and you're like, that's really cool. Oh wow, I didn't know that. And then sometimes, like I was doing, I was writing a poem about watching the signs, because if you notice, signs want to be read. Signs that you see, they want you to read them. They want you to read those signs. And sometimes the signs are really, really interesting. And you're like, is that sign for me? and and sometimes I was actually very mad one day. Very mad. I was driving really, I had a little bit of road rage that day. And I was demanding to see the signs, right? Demanding that I see the signs. And the one sign that came up was stop. Stop. And I was like, that's my sign, stop.
Hey,
And then I kept going. I kept driving. I stopped, obviously, because it's a stop sign. But then I kept going, and it said, signal ahead. Okay.
You got to put that together.
And that's it. It was just as simple as that. Signal ahead. Because I was mad at the universe, if you know what I mean. I was mad at God. I was mad at, my situation or whatever it was, and then that was God saying stop and watch the signs.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, that's deep.
For me,
That was
it's
God dropping mic. I dropped mic.
for me, it's a- for me, f- for me, it's a little bit different. You know, when I'm trying to make a dramatic, angry exit, you know, my jacket will get caught on the doorknob, and that'd be like God. That'd be God saying, "Can you need to calm down in that serious?" That's my
Right.
song right there. I'd be like, "My bad, Lord. I need to calm down." Cause woo, don't you hate when they try to make a dramatic exit and your jacket gets caught on the doorknob door? You looking like that's a sign you need to calm down real quick. Ugh.
Yeah, I think God has a very, very wicked sense of humor, actually.
Very, you know, very. And I could say I've tried to do my best to portray, to really portray what God and spirituality means to me. And with my latest collection that's coming out next year, Peace in the Black Poet Moonlight, I kind of, I give my own interpretation of, I guess you could say, like, what salvation is for me, or what is truly committing myself to something positive, to God. It's kind of like whatever you want to put. I love when things are left open to interpretation, because then I feel everybody can jump in on the conversation, things can get started. So I love to leave that interpretation open, even in my own writing. When I'm writing, whatever it could be, fiction or poetry, whatever, I love to leave that interpretation open so somebody can pick it up and hopefully on some level picture themselves in the situation or find some type of meaning within it.
Right. Can we get a preview?
Preview of Moonlight, of course you can.
Mhm.
shockingly, it's crazy because I think I closed the bags, but no, I can find it. Yeah, so this one is coming out. I do not have a release date for it yet. I have so many other things. One of the bad things about me is that I could work on 1,000 things and none of them will be released until like 10 years later. Which is bad, but I'm working on it. But let me see. What is a good one to read from Moonlight? I got one right here. Actually, I think I'm gonna give you two. This one is called Moonlight Free Verse. Sick of people telling me about my downs and getting mad when I flex my ups. I see that I'm too high for the ones who fill up on validation, while I feed off positive energy like it's radiation. I predict their anticipation to hate like it's their God-given fate. Well, they don't know that. I've ventured into the moonlight, now I see. I'm speaking perfection. I'm living imperfection. I'm looking into the moonlight for this reflection. The peace in me says to walk away, but the black poet is speaking through me, speaking in a peaceful dialect, whispering to my head. It's telling me I can leave a scar like the Fire Nation, but burn, but breathe and heal in the same breath as the Water Tribe. In the moonlight, I can vibe to the pulse of time, revolve my pulse beating to the flow of time. I'm in the moonlight.
Awesome. That's great.
Thank you.
Love that one.
I do not know where a lot of the entries in Moonlight really just I call it a relapse because there was a time when I was, when I had just finished writing Possible's Heartbreak Love Stories. It was a time where I gave up. I shut down. I got defeated. And people say crazy, but being defeated felt good because for once I was not Deon Durr, aka Peace. I was not Deon the writer. I was not Deon the performer. I was not Deon the podcaster. I was just Deon because Deon needed me to take care of him because I always felt I was take care of everything else but myself. And it took me a while because I had a whole bunch of distractions. There is an X that this book is based on. You get this book right now for free. You can get this for download as an ebook. But when that distraction had left, I kind of feel like everything is fell apart, and I had to really face what was wrong, and I had to get back to the root of me. And recently, during lockdown quarantine, I went through that relapse again because I felt like my career wasn't getting anywhere. People who I had helped, their careers were flourishing and stuff like that. And I just didn't feel like I was really wanted as far as my creativity goes. So that's entirely where like Moonlight comes from. It comes from, me going through that relapse. That's where a majority of these pieces come from, and I love them. And I also had learned too, with the second entry I'm going to read to you, that you got to love and believe in yourself like no one else is out there. Because at the end of the day, who can love you more than yourself? At least in this form of reality, who can believe in you more than you can believe in yourself? So
yeah. Or also, who can know you better?
Exactly. Nobody knows you better than you know yourself, and that's something I have fought with for years. Even before I published my first book, I always felt like people tried to tell me who I was supposed to be. They knew me better than me. They was like, Deon, you're not this, you're not. I was like, how do you know what I am? You don't even talk to me to really know that part of me. You don't, and then people try to say, Deon, you don't do this. I'm looking like, well, baby, if you read them books, my books are tell all. My lyric collections, my poetry is tell all. That's why I tell people for years my life is an open book. And then people just want to say, well, I'm looking like, well, I've been through that already. It's in the book, babe, but you don't want to read it. And then when I post something vague about it, when I post a vague poster right there, I was like, well, I was kind of looking like, ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm just posting for fun.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong. But like I said, when it comes on down to it, I had to learn this: love and believe in yourself like nobody else is out there. Because at the end of the day, you have to be there for you. You can't expect everybody to give you the support that you're looking for. You need to get that from yourself. And that's what I had to learn. Like, past this whole entire 2020 was a learning experience.
It was. Well, it is.
For real. If you was in quarantine and you had to be quarantined with yourself, you're looking like, what am I doing here? What am I doing? And for a minute, I was like, what the hell am I doing? And I just came back because I went through writer's block. Then I had a burst of energy, and that's how Moonlight came to be. Because originally I was going to quit. In terms of poetry and lyrics, I was going to quit for a minute. But now I was like, nah, I can't just quit. I have something to say. There's something else I have to say right now.
Yeah.
And I hope that I convey that perfectly within my collections, that I'm conveying what I have to say at that point in time. Whether it is about loving yourself, self-love, being honest with yourself, going to that dark place to confront the demons that you have pushed to the side, you pushed up in there. That's what I hope people get, is kind of like, you can face whatever you can. When you believe in loving yourself truly, you can take on whatever. You don't need that support. You can do without it and still be great. You can still have the courage to say, hey, I did it. I got my mark. I left behind my legacy. Like, you can look at my resume. You can look it up. I was here. And a lot of people can't say, and a lot of people probably will never have that thing to say, that have that staple that I was here. Sorry for my tangent. I go off a lot because it really means a lot to me, especially when I see people not believing in themselves in terms of their talent, in terms of their love they have for everybody, and just not having enough for themselves. So reminder out there, people, love yourself like nobody else is out there.
Okay, I'm taking that into consideration.
Yes. And now let me get into the second one. This is more lyrics. It's weird. They're lyrics, but they can be read as poetry. And I one time, for one collection that was in the release, I said, hey, if you want to remix some of this stuff, just give me the credit, man. Just give me the credit. I don't care. Give me the credit.
Yeah, you want to get paid. Come on.
For real. And you make money. Like sign me a couple of dollars. Like, I ain't saying you got to give me half, but sign me like $10. Yeah, that's
$10. Nah.
Let's do a
Give me more than $10. I'd be like, I'm keeping it then.
Real. I ain't trying to be like Candy on Real Housewives. Okay, let me stop. But This is called breathe, believe, and love yourself. You feel unloved. You feel like someone has to believe in you for you to breathe. That's toxic thinking. No one can believe in you like you believe in yourself. No one can love you like you love yourself. Hold your own head up. Help yourself. Push yourself while everyone watches out for everyone. God never gives us too much that we can't handle. And on those days when we feel the weight, it's never too much for us. Breathe for yourself because you'll pass out and die waiting for anyone else to love you like you should be loving yourself. At one point, we stand alone, but that doesn't mean we lose. We just got to breathe and for a moment, love ourselves like no one else is out there. Take a moment and breathe for yourself. Love and believe in yourself like no one else is out there.
You know, this means help inspire.
Oh, okay. I was kind of like, why is he telling me hi every time? I like that. That's cool beans. That's cool beans. Help inspire.
I didn't come up with it.
Like
It's actually somebody from TikTok who's always talking to people. Anyways, once you get into TikTok,
I have to,
let me know. Because no, and what I'm saying is because it's taken me like a few months to get to where I'm at right now in TikTok, and I'm loving it because I have so many. I'm following so many people that are inspiring to me, and I turn to their channels every day, every morning, every afternoon, every evening. It's not that I'm lonely, but it's because I need some inspiration. Sometimes you need it. Sometimes you can give it out. Sometimes you can perform like you're doing, and I can see that you have a lot to say, but at the same time, sometimes you have to be the listener, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. My mom, she ain't listening, because there'll be no living with her. She says you have to listen, pause, stop talking, and listen. I'm still working on that. I'm not perfect. I'm still working on it. but definitely, you have to listen. I forgot who said it. Was it Joan Rivers? It was John. I think it was Joan Rivers. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room because you can't learn anything. So you always be the dumbest. I was kind of like, damn, I don't want to be dumb, but I was like, wait a minute, I know what she means. You always want to learn, because sometimes the smartest person, they're smart in that one area, but the dumbest person has a chance to learn a variety of topics. So I think she meant like, don't be a know-it-all, like, and always be open to learn something new. Don't be a know-it-all.
And we know them know-it-alls, and we don't like them, don't we?
Sure enough, I look at him every morning in the mirror. I'd be like, what's up, bro? How you doing today?
No, I mean, it's not a bad thing to hold yourself in high regards. It's fine, but don't be an ass.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have seen so many people, so many friends just be humbled. And I've been humbled. I'm not too proud or whatever to say, hey, I have been humbled. Like when I say I've been humbled, I've been humbled. Like when I say I done lost all of my work for 3-4 books humbled, yes, trust me, I've been humbled. So just, have that humility. If you know you the shit, perfect, good. Keep that confidence, but don't ever think that you're better than the next person, because you're only as good, and I take this to heart. You're only as good as your last effort. If that makes sense.
It will make sense when I edit this video. Sometimes it doesn't make sense at the time, but it will make sense later.
Yeah, you're only as good as your last record. That's where I got that from. You're only good as your last record.
Oh, yeah, I heard that expression.
Yeah, you're only good as your last movie, your last job, insert like whatever. So always be humble, always learn, always listen, because that's how you really succeed in life. That's how you succeed. Being humble is a essential key to succeeding in life, and just honestly being happy, because like if you're sad and you think why you're sad, but sometimes you need that different perspective to come and be like, hey, did you think about this? Then you looking like, damn, I didn't.
Yeah.
So it's strange. It's weird. Life is weird. Life is always teaching us when we want to be taught.
Life is 2020 has been interesting in many ways.
22. This is the sequel to 2016. That's why I call it this.
The sequel to 2016.
Yeah, it was. It was. I remember, like, I did not have a bad 2016 per se. I got mine in 2017, have 2018. That's when I kind of like disappeared off the face of the earth. Yeah, that was my. But when I compare, like, damn, I have not seen this much heartache since 2016, because 2016 went all in. It didn't care. I was like, God damn. So, but 2020 has been an eye-opening experience for everybody. And like I said before, you know, people who really took advantage of the lockdown and quarantine, they have brand new perspectives, jobs, careers, projects that they're working on. And I love to see that so many of my friends and family have really just been looking like, yo, I ain't working right now, so here's my business. I'm looking like, oh, where can I buy it? I don't want to, wait, how much is it? I'm good, man. I ain't paying that. But it is just such a great thing that everybody really took advantage of, really explored, and really got to know themselves better. You know, because I kind of feel like I said, I was quarantined, like, even though I was quarantined with family, I was still dealing with my own stuff. And I had to learn, and had to, like, you know, learn myself again, and realize that I was sort of slipping back into those coping mechanisms that I had in the past and didn't even know it. So, like, 2020 has really been eye-opening, learning, and I hope 2021 is better, because I don't feel like doing care. I don't feel like doing care.
You know, it can't be any worse than 2020. I just don't believe it. I don't want to believe it, but you know, we never know what's going to happen. But listen, Deon, it's the end of another show, second show that we did. But I do appreciate Azasis for connecting us, and also for your poetry, your time, and your inspiring words. I'm living for this. I love it. So thank you.
Thank you so much for, like, inviting me and having me, because, you know, I'm always giving the interview. I never be an interview, so it was fun. It's fun to be on the other side of the fence, where I was like, oh, this is fun. Yeah. I'm always giving. I'm never actually getting them myself. But thank you. You know, thank you so much for having me. And it is always nice to share with, like, another creative poet. It's always nice, another writer out there. Gotta stick together.
Yeah. Hey. So, we do. Otherwise, who's gonna be for us? You know, if we're not together as artists.
For real, yeah.
Trust me. They don't give a. You know what I mean. But yeah, I will end this right now. Again, guys, follow Deon, follow me, subscribe to whatever you see on the screen below, whatever you're at. Just follow us, because we're gonna continue doing content.
Yes.
And
go to my website, deondurr.com. That's where you find all of my stuff at. All right,
Durr, not Blur, Durr.com.
Yes, not Blur. It's a good stage name. I won't lie. It's a good stage name. I might consider using that if I try to change up my, you know, platform again in the future. But it's Deon.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, Deon. All right, guys. You didn't see this coming.